Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel. Now on Thursday the 27th of July, a new Project Zomboid development blog was dropped, and as always I'll be taking the opportunity to walk you guys through all the stuff you need to know about this development update. There will be a link to the full blog post in the description as always, and if you have any questions or thoughts about anything in this dev blog, just let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to assist. Like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Now I'm going to start off by jumping ahead to some of the new stuff in this blog post, then I'll come back to the updates the development team at the Indie Zone had for us later on in the video with regards to the 4 major pillars of Build 42. There's been a lot of work going on in the audio department this week according to the developers, and they've given us a pretty nice clip of some rebalancing of effects going on with ambient soundscapes. Essentially that just means putting things at the right audio levels so that you can hear every aspect of what's playing rather than an element or two overshadowing the rest of the soundscape. Take a listen to this for a moment. Before we get into the rest of today's video, a quick word from today's sponsor. War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game available, with painstaking levels of detail on every single one of its 2,000 vehicles, including tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships that go head-to-head in combined arms warfare. With over 100 years of mechanical engineering available to choose from and intense PvP battles at various immersion levels for all playstyles, there's no doubt that you'll find something to suit your taste. For me, there's no feeling quite like running close air support in combined arms battles. Dropping heavy ordnance on ground targets to support your team when they're outnumbered is one of the best feelings a game like War Thunder can offer. The best part is it's entirely free to play on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, and when you register with my link shown on screen and in the description, you'll get a large bonus pack completely free, including multiple premium vehicles, premium account benefits, boosters, and much more. Sign up using my link and play War Thunder today. So, getting back to the development blog, we've heard some of the adjustments to the ambient soundscape, but there's a lot more elements of audio the team have been working on lately. Formosa UK have recently completed a mixing session for the team. We were given a full list of what they've worked on, shown on screen now. This includes a rebalance of all firearms. I'd assume this essentially means that pistols, for example, will be quieter than weapons like shotguns or rifles, as well as some improvements to their sounds, both indoors and outdoors. There's a lot more on this list, but I don't think anything else really needs clarification, so if you want to give it a full read, pause the video here for a few moments before we move on. Now, some of you may remember that in one of the recent dev blogs we got to see some of the new voice work that had been done for our characters. The dev team wrap up this section on audio by saying that they realize they are missing a trick, as they put it, by not having a range of different voices outside of the 2 that we've heard so far, and note that it would sound especially weird in multiplayer. So they will be looking into recording from a wider range of actors and actresses in the future to bring us some more variety, which is really nice to hear. It's not something I'd actually thought about before, but having a group of people all making the exact same sounds might get a little tedious after a while, I'm sure. Alright, so that just about covers everything audio in this development update, and we're next treated to some footage of new items, specifically containers and bags, that I'll leave playing in the background for the next couple of minutes. One of the clips we're shown gives us a look at the more military side of things, including new rifle cases, new sheriff and SWAT duffel bags, Alice belts, suspender webbing, and whilst they weren't mentioned in the list provided, you can also spot a small biohazard container, various security containers, and a first aid container, which doesn't look like the first aid kit that's already in the game, if my memory serves me correctly there. The eagle-eyed viewers amongst you may have also noticed from that snippet of ambient sound that we viewed earlier, there were some of the new containers in that footage too, including a picnic basket, a fishing basket, garden basket, and musical instrument containers. Now, the next clip we're shown in this video I know will be something that a lot of players will be happy to see. The next clip shows a cautious survivor pulling some sheets off some windows and then using them to make a sheet sling bag, which I'd assume will make for a nice early game backpack with limited capacity until you can find something better later on in your playthrough. And honestly, I know a lot of people are already using mods to allow crafted improvised backpacks, and it really does just make sense to add them to the game in vanilla, especially considering that the developers have talked previously about providing alternate ways to tackle those various survival milestones, like in this instance, finding a backpack. Now, I know a lot of Project Zomboid players out there love to redecorate their safe houses or straight up just build one from scratch. I see tons of people on our multiplayer server doing this every wipe cycle, so I think those types of players are definitely going to be pleased by this next bit of footage we've been shown. Now, currently in Project Zomboid you can paint walls, but we'll soon be able to wallpaper as well to add various patterns to the mix. This clip shows the process from start to finish, including building the wall, plastering it, and then applying the wallpaper of your choice. The developers have also noted in this section that we'll finally be getting the ability to wash grime from walls as well, so I'm sure a lot of you will be playing out your house flipper fantasies in Project Zomboid when this comes around. In the world of farming in Project Zomboid, the revamp continues, with current work being focused on systems for fertilizers, compost, and pests. Optimization and rebalancing is ongoing, and lastly, the guys working on the farming revamp are doing some work with scarecrows at the moment to ensure that they spawn with the proper clothing, unlike they currently do with white textured plastic like that of mannequins. Now, this next part I don't fully understand, as I'm not a modder myself, but for the benefit of any modders who are watching this video, the team says they've been working on some new tools to make the life of modders easier. There will be new gizmos for managing script assets, having uses such as a utility that exports item display names from scripts to create new translation files for said items if they don't already have one. Another example given is an internal tool to help the sound team notice events that haven't been hooked up properly, or a new addition that haven't had a sound built for them yet. Hopefully that means something good to the modding folks out there, and don't worry if it goes over your head, because it does for me as well. And that takes us to a pretty interesting part of the dev blog, to say the least. The developers are essentially trying to tag the whole map so that the game itself knows what should be happening in each region. We're then shown this image to help explain what they mean by this. I've gone ahead and attached a key on the side of your screens rather than reading through what each one means individually, so you can cross-reference with the image whilst I'm talking about it. Now, not much is said about what this will be used for outside of the basics, but I'd imagine that in the short term, this will help determine what kind of clothes zombies will be wearing or what kind of items they might have on their person. But going into the future, remember that we're going to see actual signs of meta events in the world, so it's totally possible that this is being built to hook up with more systems later down the line. For example, let's say you hear a scream out in some farmer's fields, and upon investigation, you find the body of a survivor being munched on by the undead. But thanks to these new area tags, they're carrying a pitchfork, a straw hat, and some overalls, maybe a farming magazine. It's totally possible that this could attach to NPCs and AI later down the line once they are implemented as well. But again, all of this is just my speculation, as there wasn't much detail on this in the blog post itself. Alright, so that just about wraps up all the ongoing work for new additions and some of the bigger stuff in this dev blog. Next, I'm going back to the start of the dev blog, where the developers do a brief check-in with the 4 main pillars of Build 42, that being the crafting system overhaul, multiplayer improvements, the various overhauls to lighting, depth and map rendering tech, and lastly, animals. The devs note that RJ, who works on animals, has recently been on holiday, so updates in the animal department will have to wait until next time. Meanwhile, however, Turbo has been finalizing the machine and crafting station systems for some testing going on next week. The focus at the moment for the team is maximizing how they can be used by both the dev team and modders in the future. The team goes on to say that the results of this focused effort are exciting, and that it will allow continued expansion of the new tech tree across existing devices over the Project Zomboid map, including things like gas stations, wells, water pumps, and other stationary items or machines that could be tied to to this system. Essentially, we might see some additional functions and implementations around the machines and functional items that already exist in the game world. Work is also continuing with the tech upgrade, and to be quite honest here, a lot of this is technical jargon that a lot of people might not understand, so I'm going to try and sum this up as quickly as possible before we move on. Work includes improvements to the new visibility polygon, tile depth addition that will remove those annoying instances where objects clip through the character and make lying down and sitting possible for future addition to the game, not limited to the two directions like it would be if it were currently implemented. The developers are also continuing with their process of squashing some bugs that have come up as a result of the significant engine upgrades currently in testing, and they've given us quite a few examples, like doors not shaking when attacked, railings not being cut away properly, rendering of zombies on hidden floors not currently working, and more. Finally, the developers note that 4 coders and 2 multiplayer testers are now working on multiplayer improvements. 2 of these coders are dedicated to the ongoing goal of making all player inventory actions server-side rather than client-side, with the other 2 being focused on general multiplayer bug squashing and polish. These developers have also been busy hooking up the new systems coming to Build 42, like revamped fishing to the netcode, with animals coming in the near future. And as the last thing before I wrap up this video, just a quick note from the developers at the end of this devlog that essentially says thanks to the success of Build 41, the team have been hiring new additions to the PZ team, and this has continued recently. They aren't ready to shine a light on their work just yet, but they note that this is something they're looking forward to showing us in the future once these new members of the team are embedded properly. So that's it from me in this one. Again, if you folks have any questions about the contents of this blog post or want to share your thoughts, please feel free to do so in the comments section below this video. Always like to hear from you guys on these and speculate a little on the upcoming systems. Just a quick reminder that today's video was sponsored by War Thunder. Sign up to play the game for free on Xbox, PC, or PlayStation with my link in the description and earn yourself a free bonus pack complete with multiple premium vehicles, premium account benefits, boosters, and more. Just a quick note as well that our Patreon server will be starting its fresh wipe cycle at the start of August, so if you're interested in supporting the channel and maybe joining my existing patrons on the server, there's a link in the description for that too. Once again, massive thank you to my existing patrons for all their support, and I will see you all in the next one.